Hi everybody, welcome to our 4 o'clock live. I'm here with Jason Aaronson. How are you?
I'm great.
Thanks for coming on the show. It is so good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
You came a long way. You came all the way from the valley.
I did.
But you missed the rain.
I did.
It was supposed to rain today, you guys, and somehow I really wanted that storm, but no storm. It's actually cloudy though. Maybe it's coming. Anyways, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Me.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
Of course.
Could you just let everybody know about you? Let's hear about you. What do you do for a living? What's your background?
Well, I currently am the executive director at a residential detox program in the Valley.
Okay.
Chatsworth, California, to be exact.
Okay.
We are, as I mentioned, residential detox co-ed facility, dual diagnosis. And my role there is pretty expansive, very hands-on, and we do our best to provide a very diverse atmosphere, a very robust program, and I'm very proud to work there. I'm proud of the work we do, and our staff is amazing. And I'm also a licensed marriage and family therapist in private practice.
Wow, very interesting man. So behind that, there has to be a story.
There's always a story.
There's always a story.
Yeah.
What brought you to work in treatment and become a therapist? Where does that passion come from?
Well, to put it simply, my childhood was very challenging. I was faced with a lot of adversity at a very young age, starting from birth, I could say. I had to make through my way through a lot of obstacles. Without getting too much into detail, things were difficult. And I had a lot of people throughout the years guide me and help me. And it only seemed natural to do the same, to use my insight and my life experience to enhance the lives of other people. And so that's what I've set out to do for the 12 plus years that I've been in this industry.
12 plus years.
Yeah.
So in industry standards, that's like 100 years.
Yeah, right.
People get burnt out really fast working in the industry. Why do you think that is? Being a therapist, what's your professional observation there?
Well, it sounds cliche, but lack of self-care.
No, you're absolutely right. I agree.
Yeah, which I suffer with from time to time. I'm still struggling to find balance. I love working. Working is my passion. It's a work in progress. It's been something I'm constantly trying to tweak and mold as far as balancing where my focuses lie. With that being said, I do work a lot, and I do it because I enjoy it. It doesn't really feel like a job to me. It's second nature. But at the same time, with that being said, there's been great sacrifice in my personal life because I tend to put my work first. And so I think a lot of us that are in the helping professions have a tendency to be that way. Perfectionism and trading one addiction for the other.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Trading one addiction for the other. For myself, when I got sober and went back to school and was working an AA program at the time, and they said, okay, you want to work in treatment. They said, don't have working in treatment become your program.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what does that mean? But it's so true, and like the first year that I worked in treatment, I had 8 months sober, working in treatment, didn't even know who I was. Like I was a complete mess.
Yeah.
And here I am as an intern trying to counsel other people, and I learned a lot, but I wasn't prepared. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like I personalized everything and I overworked. I worked harder than the clients, and I carried so much of their baggage.
I can relate.
And I felt like I was going to burn out. I had what I call emotional relapses, like over and over and over again, because I wasn't practicing that self-care. So what do you do for self-care?
Well, I enjoy traveling.
Where do you like to go?
New places. I like to explore. I have an adventurous side to me. I really like history. So any new place I can find myself transporting to, I will. I've done Europe and Asia and Puerto Rico and different places such as that, but there's still, as they say, the world is my oyster. So there's still countless places I'd like to visit.
That's one thing I have on my bucket list is traveling more. Not always, but I trip out on it sometimes. I can go down these rabbit holes in my thoughts just driving, and I'll be thinking like, wow, like we live on this planet and so many of us just stay in this one area
in a bubble
our whole life.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, there's this whole world to go see and explore. And what would you say your favorite places and best memory out of traveling?
Oh, that's a hard one. As a kid, my parents used to take us to Lake Tahoe.
Okay, never been there.
It's one of my favorite places on the planet. And they would take us to places such as New England. So those are very domestic. If I had to pick a place that's more abroad, Croatia was one of my favorite places.
Really?
Waterfalls and beautiful landscapes and a lot of history and great food. And I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
And are you in recovery?
I am.
You're in recovery.
I am.
So you can travel freely without being confined to that addiction. I know for me, when I was in my addiction, I couldn't go anywhere and do anything. If I wanted to go do something, it's like, okay, do I have enough pills for the week? How am I going to be able to get on an airplane? Am I going to get sick? What if I need something? There's so much freedom in that.
Yeah.
How does that feel for you being sober today?
I can't think of anything else that I'd rather be. I was held hostage by my alcoholism and my addictions, and everything, my existence was based on using everything about it, my friends, the places I went, the choices I made, the money I spent. And now that you remove all those elements, as you put it, it's freeing, and it's night and day. It's a whole new world. And I don't know anything different at this point. It's been almost 10 years for me of continuous sobriety.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's life-changing.
What did that,
to say the least.
Yeah, I agree. What did that moment of surrender look like to you?
It didn't come easily. I think a lot of us can say that. But I had to choose, do I want to live or do I want to die? And those were the only two options. So I had to weigh it out. And judging by the fact that I'm sitting here today, you know what I chose.
It was the right choice. Yeah. How'd you get sober?
My last experience, I had a couple years clean or close to it, and I went out over a relationship, as many of us do, and I had a 3 or 4 day run that landed me in the hospital, and from there I ended up in a shelter at the Midnight Mission downtown.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm a kid that grew up with a nice family in a nice neighborhood in the valley, so it was a shock for me, and it was a nightmare. Although the Midnight Mission is a great place to help a lot of people, I just didn't fit there. But I did because I ended up there. I needed help, and I had nowhere else to go. So oftentimes we think we don't belong somewhere, we're too good to be somewhere, but our path takes us there anyway because of our choices.
Yes.
So I ended up there, and then I left there after a few days, and I ended up going to the Salvation Army.
Wow.
And I stayed there for 7 months, and I've been sober ever since.
Inspiring. Good for you, being able to humble yourself.
Thank you.
It's, when we're really ready to get sober, we can do it anywhere, you know, and
I agree.
I went through a place called Yellowstone, and some people, I don't know if you know of it or not, but anybody locally in Orange County knows Yellowstone. It's kind of like a Salvation Army sort of thing, but yeah, it's when you're ready, when you finally surrender.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So your journey, almost 10 years. So you started working in recovery the first go around when you got sober, and you've been working in recovery ever since. So what is your goal? What do you want to do long term?
I want to build upon the foundation that I already have. I want to help as many people as possible. Within my career, I want to use the tools and the resources I have at my disposal to expand my knowledge and expand my availability to people. There's no shortage of struggling individuals out there, And I've been given this opportunity to make change or help to create change and help people create change within themselves. And if I didn't do that, it's for naught. It's going to waste. So I'm going to capitalize on that, and I'm going to do everything I can. You know, while I have while I'm blessed with the short amount of time that we're given, I'm going to make the most of it.
I love that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question as a therapist. When you hear people talk about addiction being a choice, do you mind speaking on that?
That's a big question, or a big topic.
It's a debatable topic, right?
Yeah.
And I can understand both sides depending on if you've been through it, if you're educated. Right. Like, what would you say to somebody if they're coming to you and I just, I've been told this is just a choice and I'm just not strong enough. I just can't stop, but I should just be strong enough because I chose this.
Right.
A lot of people have a lot of guilt and shame surrounding that and fear. And
absolutely. They're
behind these cameras somewhere and don't want to get the help because they're so ashamed. So what would you say? What would your advice be?
Well, there's scientific evidence that backs the notion that there's a genetic predisposition. There's also environmental pieces that contribute to it. At the end of the day, despite our childhoods or the things that happen to us, the trauma that we suffer, the things that we're faced with, we are adults and we do have to hold ourselves accountable. We do have to decide how our future is going to look. So with that being said, we do have a choice on how we want to live our lives. Do we want to continue living within our addiction, or do we want to make the changes necessary in order to live a more fruitful, productive existence in society?
Yeah.
So for someone that's still struggling, I would, the first thing I would say is surrender and accept help. You're not weak for accepting help. Every human being on this earth needs help at one point or another. Not one of us can get through this life without assistance. And just allow someone to be there for you, and to guide you, and to, if someone reaches out their hand, grab it. And what happens after that is up to you.
That's when it becomes a choice. And that's so well said, because people need to be able to ask for help and know that it's not a weakness, and I think that first time is a choice, but after that, that's when addiction kicks in, and that's when the genetic factors and the environment and all that kick in. I know for me, after that first time, I was off and running. It just set me in motion, that triggering event.
Sure.
But that was one of the hardest things for me, was asking for help.
Yeah.
You're strong enough, you can do this on your own, you've got this. And it's like, no, none of us do. With anything in life, we need help. We need each other. We weren't all put on this planet together to not ask each other for help.
Yeah.
And there's such a stigma around that in mental health, that it's like, let's not talk about it, or you should feel bad about it. And it's like, we're all dealing with something.
Absolutely.
We're all dealing with something. So tell us more about where you work, the name of the company, what you guys specialize in, because I know you're going to be doing some mental health work, correct?
Gearing up to launch another program, another project, a separate entity that will parallel what I'm doing already. I'm not leaving the company I'm currently with. I'm just spreading my wings, so to speak. Okay. So I'm at Golden Road Recovery in Chatsworth, California. We are a 6-bed residential detox co-ed program. We have a very robust schedule, very structured. I run a tight ship. I'm involved from beginning to end, whether it's dealing with the families or the staff, so forth and so on. Back to the workaholism. I work essentially. You're a
workaholic.
Yeah, I admit it.
That's okay. Hey, admitting it's the first step.
Yeah. But I do my best to use it towards my advantage. I'm there 7 days a week, most weeks. But I do sleep.
Okay, good. I'm glad you sleep. Yeah. What would you say is that you've learned the most about yourself working in treatment?
Wow. I would say that I need more. I need more balance.
That would be me too.
I need to have a life. I need to have relationships, whether it be romantic, platonic, what have you. And I haven't always had enough of that. But one thing as addicts or alcoholics, a big piece of what we're missing, and one of the reasons why we become who we are, is we're lacking connection with other people. And that's why 12-step programs work so well, because it gives you that. But then we find ourselves trading one addiction for another and becoming workaholics and having process addictions and so forth and so on. But again, I think I'm getting better at it as the years go on, and I do better with age, and the wisdom tends to refine itself.
I find that too. And as I get older, I find that I enjoy my own company for the first time ever in my life. Before it was always have to be around people, have to be doing something, like sit at home. Why would I do that? I got to be out. And now I can't wait to get home and get in my PJs and relax and watch a show. I'm watching a show right now. I'm not going to say it though, because we were just talking about it. But yeah, like having that self-care and putting ourselves first. So I'm sure that helps when you're talking to the clients about that too. Because I find like when you're in your younger years, you don't think about it as much if you're a workaholic, And then as you get older, you're like, oh, I should probably get balance, and maybe I need to work on this and work on that. I mean, we're always a work in progress, so always be learning. If someone says they got it figured out, I don't trust them. Like there's no way. There's no way. Okay, so back to you guys over there. So you're located in Chatsworth, right?
The San Fernando Valley, Chatsworth, California.
Okay, and website?
It's goldenroadrecovery.com.
Okay, okay. People can get a hold of you through there. People to get a hold of you personally. Obviously, you don't want to give out your phone number, but where can they find you?
There's also there's always social media.
Social media, yeah.
I think that's the best route.
Okay.
Not hard to find on there.
Look you up on social media. Okay. So let me ask you this. I want to ask you a couple fun questions.
Okay. I'm ready.
Where is the next place you want to vacation to, and why?
So many.
You gotta pick one.
I'm gonna say Japan.
Japan.
Yeah.
And why?
The culture there is so rich, and I'm a foodie, and I love Japanese style food, whether it's teppanyaki or sushi or whatever else. But I'm just fascinated by the culture,
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to go there.
I want to go there too.
Yeah.
That's definitely on my bucket list. Okay. Have you ever jumped out of an airplane before?
I have not.
Would you?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Are you scared of heights?
Not necessarily. I like roller coasters. I'll do it one day. I think I'll get there.
Yeah. I won't do it.
Maybe you can take me.
No, I can't. Taylor over there videoing this, he jumped out of a plane and he wants to do it all the time if he could.
What's great about that is you start off tandem.
Yeah, exactly.
So, there's a little bit of a safety net there.
But it's just having those natural highs, like finding the fun in recovery.
Yeah.
What have you done with clients over the years that's been fun and exciting and good self-care, but shows them that there's fun in sobriety?
Theme parks, the most common places, zoos, museums, go-kart racing, fishing trips, boating. There's so much out there. There's so much to explore. There's so many options. And when we pick outings, we try to get creative. To try to think outside the box. There's always horseback riding and paintballing, and there's a million and one different things to do. But again, we try to think outside the box. You never know; they might find something that they never knew existed.
That they enjoy.
Yeah, and it becomes a hobby, or it becomes something they do on a regular basis.
Yeah. And
that's what we're trying to do. Is in a sense, they're being reparented, and they're learning new ways to live life and think and perceive things, and new ways to look at themselves.
Absolutely. I agree with that so much. Just exploring everything. That's like with my son who's 13. I'm exposing him to things right now, like fishing or baseball, because he's never experienced them. And how do you know if you like something? And a lot of people in recovery, they've been in addiction for so many years. They don't know what they like.
Yeah.
They don't know what they want. And so it's fun to go do different things. So
Absolutely.
well, thanks for being adventurous.
Yeah.
And wanting to go and do things and traveling. And if you go to Japan, you better send me back some sushi, because I could eat sushi every day of the week. I've got a sushi obsession, to be quite honest. So
it's an expensive obsession.
It's an expensive obsession. It is. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're an amazing man. I appreciate you.
That's kind of you.
I appreciate everything you do, and we'll definitely tune in. Maybe we'll see a skydiving video sometime this year. So.
And I want to say you're amazing as well.
Oh, thank you.
You're a bright light.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, you guys, have a good weekend. We'll see you next Friday. Bye.